Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Ronald and Riff here. Today is Tuesday, October 25th, 2022 AD. And today I'm going to talk to you about my MIG 130. Check this puppy out, man. It's very nice. Now there's some things I like about it that's really great, and there's some other things I don't not so cool about. But before we get into the machine itself, let me go over some of the accessories that come with it. First of all, this is the most pathetic wire brush and chipping hammer I have ever seen. This is pathetic. It's horrible. I mean, barely worth the plastic and metal that it's made out of. Okay, so you've got a strap you carry, like if you want to carry it, you can put your plastic strap right here, and you can attach it and carry it that way if you want to, which I'm not going to do. I'm just going to use the handle on the top here. Okay, so there's that. Next we have, let's separate these two here. Okay, this is the stinger if you're going to do stick or SMAW or shielded metal arc welding, known as stick welding to a lot of people. This has got a very nice clamp to it, so this is very well made. Very nice, okay? It's very simple. Simply plug it into the machine, and you have a range of 30 to 130 amps, which for a machine of this size with a 60% duty cycle isn't too bad. Now, 60% duty cycle means it works for 6 out of 10 minutes, and the reason it does that is because if you went over that, it would overheat. So it has a duty cycle of 60%, which means that if you're welding for 6 constant minutes, it'll stop. So the machine doesn't catch on fire or overdo your electrical or whatever. So keep that in mind. But normally when you're stick welding, you're not going to be welding a minute, maybe 2 at the most. So it's normally not for stick welding or SMAW. That's shielded metal arc welding. It's not a big deal. The duty cycle comes more into play when it has to do with the flux core. But again, the stinger or electrode holder is very nice and very well made. So I'm very impressed with that. Next, we have the ground clamp, and it's very well made as well. It's smaller than most ones I've seen or used, but it's still very nice. So very well made. Just plug it in your machine, you're good to go. Okay, you've got one extra tip, so that won't last long. I mean, it'll last, well, it depends on how much you use it, but if you use it right, it should last a long time. But it's just one of those things, when you weld, it's eventually going to be used up, because it's just one of the things. Put a lot of heat through this metal, and eventually it's going to wear out. Now, let me tell you about the welding with this machine. First of all, again, with the stick welding or SMAW, which is shielded metal arc welding, you've got the range of 30 to 130 amps, which for some thin electrodes isn't too bad considering the size of this machine. Now, it's flux core only when it comes to gas metal arc welding or GMAW or MIG. And the reason it's flux core only is because there's no place on the back here to insert gas from a cylinder. So it has to be flux core. So basically that means the flux is on the inside of the wire, and the reason you have to use that kind is because, again, there's no place to put a gas cylinder to do standard GMAW. Now let me show you here. I'll open up the top here. What you do, there's a thing on this side you open up, and then there's one on this side. You put your wire here, your coil of wire, run it through here, and then when you pull the trigger, there's a mechanism here that pulls it through, and you're good to go. This is very nice for something this size. This is I'm really impressed with it. I mean, for something this size and this cost, it's a very nice little machine. Now, there is something you have to take into consideration, though, when you're doing this, and that is 130 amps. When you're doing the flux core arc welding, you can adjust the wire speed, but you cannot adjust the amperage. It's set to 130 automatically. It's set to full out heat. So you can't adjust the amperage. You can adjust the wire speed, which is very nice, but the amperage is on the maximum setting at all times when you're flux core arc welding. So you have to keep that in mind. But that's the one thing I don't really like. But for something of this size, it's not a big deal. And once you get used to it, it's like I said, if you've done flux core arc welding or something with a machine this small, it doesn't take long to get used to it if you're familiar with the flux core process. But if you've never done flux core at a steady 130 and not had the choice of changing it, I mean, it does take a little getting used to, but it's not bad. So now, obviously, if you wanted to be able to adjust that, you'd have to buy a bigger machine with more options. That would cost a lot more. But considering the price of this unit, what you get, what you can do with it, it's very, very nice. Now, obviously, it's not perfect, and there's things that we can do to improve it. But for a welder starting out who needs to do stick or SMAW or flux core arc welding, this is a nice little machine. I mean, you can plug this into any household outlet and be good to go, which for welding is not something you can normally always do. Now, keep in mind, when you do plug this machine in and start using it, it's kind of like plugging in one of those space heaters, where if you have too much electricity going through the wall outlet, it may trip the circuit breaker. So you may have to, when you run this, you may have to, just make sure you're not running, a whole bunch of them, or trying to run more than one, or running a whole lot of electricity at the same time, because this will take up some electricity, and it may, like I said, if you try to run too much through one circuit where you're this to get this plugged in, it's like a space heater. It may trip your circuit breaker. So just, make sure that you have plenty of power to go to the machine. And again, I keep comparing it, but that's a good way to do it, is to compare it to a space heater, where if you plug in too many space heaters in your house on the same circuit, it'll trip the circuit and it'll turn the power off. And that's done as a safety feature, so you don't burn the wiring in your house or your garage or whatever. Same thing with this. So just keep that in mind. So again, not perfect, but considering the price, it looks good, it feels good, it does a really nice job. It comes with a roll of wire, comes with one contact tip. You can buy contact tips relatively cheap, so they're not too expensive to add, when the one that comes with it plus the one that comes in this bag, wear out. But overall, it's very nice. And like I said, I mean, I can't say it enough. For the price you're paying for this machine, the fact that it can do stick and flux core, and you can run it off of standard outlets, very nice. Now, of course, you're going to have proper welding hood and proper clothing to protect yourself while welding. But again, this is a very nice little machine. Again, there's things, obviously, I wish there were other things it can do, and there are other machines that can do a lot more, but considering it's, again, size, price, portability, plugging into a standard outlet, the weight, the way it looks, the way it feels in the hands when you carry it. It's very, very nice. Of course, that little brush that came with it. This is a piece of crap. Buy a separate brush. So until next time, I'm Randall Brooks. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. God bless.
I like this welder here. I'm just handle up here, 2 latches on each side. Your control panel, I'll show you here in a moment. My spindle that they give you, it's a 0.8. Make sure that's on 0.8 there. It was very easy to put this through. You unscrew this, you lift it up, you slide your wire through there into the blue. You clamp it down. I didn't have to adjust anything else. The spindle was on there. Not on there, I put it on there from the spindle, the wire part starting down here at the base. From your trigger area then, I was just pulling the trigger, feeding it through. You can see there, it goes through really nice, comes out really nice. Spindle works nice and smooth. I'm using, I like how you can weld with different things. This is for your stick. One, which I'm not using, I'm using the spindle. So I have my clamp onto there. Welding, yeah, my mower broke my handle there, so I got to put this together. And they just come with plastic anymore. So I'm going to take the whole main bar here, weld that onto the section here to fix that. All your settings are right here, your dial right there. See that? There you go. And this cord is already on here. Of course, if you're going to do that, just make sure your 2 plugs are lined up correctly when you insert that. And very easy to use. I really like it. Nice and quiet, as you can hear it running right now. On switch and fan motor there in the back. Right there. So nice, easy, compact. I like these inverters like this. I really just uses the electronics to really just up the amperage, so to speak, and create nice, clean welds. So I find it very easy to use and really enjoy it.
This is the machine. It's not too bad when you get a brand new machine, the MIG 200, and the whip, not this whip, but the whip that comes with it, the gun didn't work out of the box. You hit the trigger and it didn't do nothing. I open it up and the cable is just completely disconnected. So I hook it back up. I'm like, oh, that was no big deal. That was simple. Then I start welding a little bit and then it throws the error code up here, E60 or something. So I realized the fan isn't working for the machine on the inside, no matter what. So what do? I don't want to send it back because it's going to take forever and nobody's calling me back from ARCCAPTAIN. I ordered this ghetto little hard drive fan and put it in this little tube. And now I just turn that on when I want to use it. And I could still use the welder. But ARCCAPTAIN, this is sad. Especially when I got the cut 50, when really, as soon as I bought the 50, you'll come out with a 55. And then I have 2 other welders I bought from you. Look it up. I've asked for help and asked for help. I get nothing.